Cannabis produces compounds that are called cannabinoids. And in your body you have a system that's called the endocannabinoid system, which is basically a series of receptors throughout your body that these cannabinoids can slot into, similar to the way the opiates work in your body. However, they don't tap into your central nervous system. That's why it's not fatal. It's not in your brainstem, it's not in any part of your central nervous system that could cause you to die. You know, not like opiates, which will kill you in a heartbeat. But those cannabinoids are produced by the plant. We also produce them in our own bodies, and that's why the system is there. And most people believe that the plant is kind of involved in a symbiotic relationship with us over the millennia. And again, in thousands of years, no one's ever died of an overdose of this compound, mostly because of that reason. Now, the part of the plant we're interested in most of the time is the bud, because the bud actually produces the cannabinoids. That's where they're on there. And the buds exist as little crystals on here. And that's what you're getting when you smoke. That's the medicinal value, the recreational value, whatever you want to call it. The effect comes from the bud, or the crystals that are on the bud. The cannabinoids themselves have different effects. There are several, THC being, of course, the most psychoactive. There are others like cannabidiol, which have been in the news quite a bit lately, that's been found to be very effective for different health issues. But overall, the THC is what everybody's going for. Most marijuana tests between 10 and, well, most modern marijuana probably closer to 10 to 30%. 30% is extremely high for cannabinoid content in marijuana. And that would be way premium marijuana. You don't see it very often. So mandatory testing hasn't come about yet. They're still making the rules about that. But eventually we're going to see mandatory testing with dosage, or excuse me, potency information on the labels. And everyone's going to have to do it. I mean, I like to use the analogy of fine wine. A lot of times it's like a fine wine. They have different smells, different tastes, different effects depending on the mix of cannabinoids in each one. Over the years, the breeders have, perfected their craft to where they can produce a terpene profile and a cannabinoid profile that's going to have the effect they're looking for. Like this Blue Mystic here is a combination of blueberry and Northern Lights. It has a very distinct blueberry smell. This Chernobyl almost smells like a red cherry Pez all on its own, and that's just after it's been dried and cured. Durban Poison smells like only Durban Poison can. It's probably one of the best strains around, but it's an equatorial sativa from South Africa, and it has very racy effects like we talked about before, and isn't for the faint of heart. So I would usually steer people away from that if they're new to the whole thing. Marijuana is about as addictive as coffee. It's not going to make you go into convulsions. It's not going to have any withdrawal effects. It's safer than almost any other legal product in the world. So for us, again, it was an easy choice, and I look forward to being able to sell it to anybody because of that. And I think, as we go through this whole thing, you're going to see a fall off in the kind of domestic violence and things that you see associated with alcohol use, because as they get an alternative, people will move to it, and it's very important that we have that.